Hi, remember me? I know you know my hands. Let's see if my sound's on. It never fails. Everybody wants to talk to me the minute I go live. Let's see if the sound's working. It's working. Okay, I turned it down. So, let's talk about, first of all, I'm Victoria from Old to Ooh La La Art. Some of you new people might know my hands, but you don't know my face because I never go on camera because I hate to adjust my camera. So I never go on camera. I always just do my hands. Um, we'll wait and see if a couple of people join us here. This is a surprise live, so nobody really knew it was going to happen. But if you've put exclamation point notify in your in the comments, you'll get notified when I go live. Exclamation point, no space, notify. Okay? Somebody say hi so I know I'm not alone. Okay. So we're going to do two things today. We're going to start on a little mini journal using a printable collection called Heritage Signature from our friend Denise at Crafty DIY. Irene, 2 days in a row? What's up with that? Hi, Christina. I haven't seen you in a bit, baby. How you doing? Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to start that today, putting together a few components of that. And that's something that we'll work on over the next couple of Tag Along Tuesdays. But the paper's just so lovely, so I really want to work with it. But before we get started, we're going to do a little briefing on tomorrow's Iron Orchid spring release, okay? I know most of you have been through it before and you know what the deal is, but I'm just going to run through a few things. In the spring release tomorrow from Iron Orchid, we have 5 molds, 2 paint inlays, 5 stamps, 3 transfers, and 2 gilded transfers for a total of 17 items. Who is that? I can hardly read. Hi, Mickey. Hi, Mickey. I don't know why my comments aren't coming up on my phone. It's so much closer and easier to read. Okay, there we go. Every mold, stamp, and color transfer includes an online class at no extra charge with purchase of mold, stamp, or color transfer. It's important that we are Facebook friends on my personal page, Victoria Conhorst. So if we're not personal friends yet on my personal page, go ahead and do that. You can do it now. You can do it at the end of the live, but I can't add you to the class unless we're friends. And a lot of times, if I try to send you a friend request, it won't go through because Facebook sees that I've not had any contact with you, whereas you've had contact with me because you've watched my lives. I think that's how it goes. Let's see. I've got 3 classes already filmed and ready to go. So I got all my ducks in a row. I'll be adding to those classrooms at the very latest by the 20th, probably before. I like to give myself a week just to ship because shipping's it's a lot. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have that to do. Um, let's see, what else do I need to say? I think that's it. Yeah, so every mold, stamp, and color transfer will include an online class that you'll be added to on or before the 20th, okay, at no extra charge to you. That's my gift to you guys for being loyal. And the oolalashop.com, it's in the title of this live, and it's also on both of my pages. You can find my shop very easily. Some of you have it saved, so that's good. And you can just click in there, and at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, my time, That'll be 1 p.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Central. The products will be available. I believe I have my website set up so it will come up under a menu item and it will say 2025 Spring Collection. Or you can just go to the little magnifying glass and type in the word spring and all the new products will come up. So I think that's all I need to pass on to you about that situation. So let's do some pretty stuff. I'm going to angle you down. Hey, Christina. Okay. Christina, I'm doing the very thing that we talked about the other day where I hate to I hate to readjust my camera, but you know, every once in a while I got to go on camera. People forget who I am. They know my hands by heart. They'd recognize my hands in a crowd, but a lot of my newer followers wouldn't know who I was because I never go on camera because I hate to adjust my camera. So, all right, so let me get rid of my notes. And I've got some pretty little things right here that I want to work with. That's my water thing, and we don't need that today. Let's see if we need more light. Ah, let there be light. I like that. That works good. All right, I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't see. And I'm working with a printable collection by our friend Denise at Crafty DIYer, and it's called Heritage Signature. And it really spoke to me. It's that soft, like grandmother's wallpaper kind of stuff. It's just really, really pretty. And we're going to do a very mini journal with this, okay? It's going to be pretty quick. And we're going to start by doing some of our little things that are going to go into pockets on our pages, okay? So I have my little paper boxes that I make full of my little add-ons that I might use or might not, I don't know. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 like card holders. One's kind of envelope style. Well, they're both envelope style, but you'll see when I put them together. And I've got several tags here. And we're just going to put these together and ink them up and just set them aside for next Tuesday when we will most probably start to build our actual, what am I trying to say? Journal. I'm going to put a link in right now of where you can find the signature, Heritage Signature. I'm sorry, I got a lot on my mind. That's a little link there. You can use that link and go to Denise's website, and I believe it's on the very first page. You don't even have to look for it, and it's called Heritage Signature. So we're going to have fun with this. This is going to be a fun little project for us. And it'll be quick. It's not going to be like a laborious, you know, journal that takes forever. I want to make it quick. So I've got my ink. My favorite ink for making things look vintage is Vintage Photo by Tim Holtz. And you can find that. Words are hard. Boy, you got that right. They're getting harder, which is a little bit scary. You can find the ink in my Amazon shop. And I'm going to put a link to my Amazon shop right now so I don't forget. I think I'm going to do that. If it's here handy, I'll certainly share it. Oh, look, there it is. Well, that was easy. Okay, so I started by scoring the, I don't know if you can see this, scoring the backs of my envelope, you know, cut them out and scored them on the back on my scoring board, okay? Everything that you see here, I did on cardstock, okay? So when you put together one of these little envelopes, it's so fun. I don't know why I love paper so much, but I just do. I love it. Maybe it's because it's the first thing that I really worked with. I scrapbooked for years. I had a scrapbook business, and I just love paper. I love paper. There's no paintbrushes to wash. I really like that part of it. Um, I'm going to put these together with Fabri-Tac. I find that a lot of times we can use our Ohu for things, but I find with things that really need to stay put, or you might be opening and closing, I find that Fabri-Tac works better. So I'm going to fold on my scored lines, okay? And then this part's going to come up here like this, okay? I want to tell you another thing. A lot of times you'll print on the back of your envelope or little tag holder or whatever, and that way the face of this has a pretty print on it. So when you open it, that looks pretty. I just painted some extras, printed some extras that I can put right on the top of this, and they match perfectly, because all of this is not going to be seen, and it seemed like a waste of ink to me. I'm very selfish with my ink, so I didn't print the whole thing. We'll just be cutting these out, and I just printed this on computer paper, and we'll be gluing that to this so it looks pretty when you open it. So that was my thought process there. So your little tabs go in this way, okay? Before we put this down, you have to think about inking things. If I put this down, I'm not going to be able to ink that edge, okay? So I'm going to ink that edge now before I glue it down. And that's something that you need to think about before you start gluing things down, is like, am I going to be able to get to that edge to ink it after it's glued down? I like my corners really heavy. I like a really vintagey look. Okay, so now I feel like I can glue that down. One side is rounded and the other side is not, which is no bueno for me. I need a pair of scissors. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that slipped by. I'm just going to round it like the other side. Okay, there we go. There we go. I like my corners really dark. Do you guys like your corners dark? I like it. I think it just kind of adds some. And a lot of times if it's too bare, not bare, but too white, I'll come in very, very easily and just smudge a little bit of ink in there to kind of get that kind of calmed down a little bit. And we'll probably, because I love this. Do I want to do this on everything? I think I kind of do. I think I kind of do, and I think we're going to do it in brown this time. I usually do black, but I think we're going to do it in brown this time. Or vintage photo. So I'm going to take some of it off, and I'm just going to go where it'll show. And it just gives you, do you see? It just gives you like little distressed lines that are so beautiful. And I think it just adds another layer of pretty to things. It's subtle because I'm doing it in the brown. So it's more subtle than black would be. Black might be a little harsh for this project. So you generally put your tabs in first. And then I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac. Fabri-Tac just holds so well, and it's waterless, so your paper is not going to buckle. Okay, it's very important when you're working with paper to have a waterless glue. You don't want things to buckle. If you get paper wet, it buckles, it crinkles up and buckles, and you don't want that. And I just hold it for a second. Look how charming. So pretty. Now, I talked about cutting this out and putting it here. So I am going to do that. Ooh, I don't want to use those scissors. Those are my good scissors, and I don't want to use them on paper because I just bought them and I promised myself I would only use them on fabric. Okay, hi Shannon. I promised myself that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pop inside and I'm going to get my scissors that I use for paper, okay? Because it's important to me. I'll be right back. I'm back. I sat last night and cut these all out while I was watching TV. My husband says, why are you always cutting out paper? I don't know. It's hard to sit and watch TV without something to do. At least it is for me. I'll fall asleep. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut down a little further down than where that fold is, because as you can see, there's a little bit where that fold is. So I'll cut down about that much. And I'm going to cut this I think it's the same size. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this right on the line. And if it doesn't match up absolutely perfectly, we can trim it after we put it on. And this is just on plain computer paper. This is not cardstock. If you don't want to do this, this step, just go ahead and print on the back. You know, when it comes out of the printer, turn it over and print something floral on the back. There's some pretty floral papers in this collection. You can just do that. But I didn't want to waste ink. I use a lot of ink and I try not to waste it because it's expensive. Ink is very expensive. So I've got this. Let's give it some life. Very nice. And then we're going to put it inside here. We're going to tuck it in like that, bring it up to the top. Let's see how I did with my cutting. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so I'm going to glue. I'll glue on the cardstock part. Important to get the edges. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back side of this because it's going to tuck down in there. If I put the glue under that, that's going to stick before I can get to it. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? We're working on a little, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be building a little mini album. I put a link to the Printable collection. And what's nice about this is we're going to be using a couple of the new Iron Orchid products on this. I can't tell you what they are yet, but I already know what I'm going to be using. So we're going to be able to use some of the new products on this journal as well. So that looks pretty good. I want to get that nice and firm there, see? And now it's already got a fold there, so I can just fold that down. Got a little bit of overhang on the back side, which I can fix easily. And just take your scissors and go around the edge. Not a problem. Perfect. So now when you open your envelope, it's beautiful on the inside as well. And there'll be little tickets and stuff that we'll tuck in there. So let's ink this all the way around now. real heavy in the corners. Just my personal preference. If you want to use a lighter hand, by all means. By all means. We're going to go around this. Doesn't get any prettier than this kind of paper, I think. Like grandma's wallpaper that she might have had like in a bedroom or something. When this is really, really white, I'll come and just smudge a little bit of ink over it so it just, you know, doesn't look quite so stark. And then, of course, we have to do the outside as well. Heavy on the corners. And then this is, you know, it's pretty stark. It's pretty white. So I'll come in and with a pretty light hand, I'll just smudge a little bit of ink on there to kind of bring everything to the same tone. Okay, it's subtle, but it makes a difference. Like this is here, this is the same image, not inked and inked. So it makes a big difference. Oh, you're looking forward to it. Great. Great. I'm looking forward to it as well. I've promised myself that even though I'm going to be buried in shipping, that I'm going to take an hour next Tuesday and come and do a live. I generally would not do that during a release, but for my own sanity, I'm going to do that. I'm going to reward myself with coming to play with some paper for an hour. I do have a little bit of help with shipping this release. It just so happens that the release is on a Thursday and a Friday, and my husband's off both of those days, and he's a machine when it comes to shipping. Just a machine. He's just so good at it. He builds me all these special boxes, and yeah, makes me look good. So there's that little envelope. Could not be cuter. Absolutely love it. So if we were going to put a little tag in there, like, look, how cute is that? We would ink up our tag. And again, I didn't back these. You could back them as you're printing them out. You could put them back through the printer and put a floral paper on the back. But I have something different in mind with some of the new products that are coming tomorrow that I'll be using for the back sides of these. So for right now, we'll just do the fronts. I just want to show you how sweet it is when you tuck this into the little, so this might go like this and then be tucked into a pocket in the little journal that we're making. Or you could always attach like this onto your journal and have this be the pocket, and you could put your tags in like this. You lose a little bit of the cuteness, I think, by not having this action, you know. So we'll probably take and do our little tags. I might even cut it down so it fits perfectly inside there, but I kind of like that too. And then we'll just tuck it down into a pocket. And if we do it this way, we can put these pretty whale tabs on it, and I'll show you what I mean by that. This is a great punch to have if you do journaling, because you can make your own tabs. A lot of kits don't come with tabs. Let's make hold on. I'm looking at what I can spare. Let's just do this. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to punch that out. Wait, if I come in the other way, it'll be better because the bird will be the right side up. So let's cut this. We know this is going to go in one of our, wrong scissors. This is going to go in one of our on the back of one of our envelopes. So let's get rid of that. And then if I come in this way, my bird will be, let me think. No, this was right. That's okay, I had to cut that off anyway. So what I want is I want my bird to be I think no matter how I do it, my bird's going to be upside down. No, I was right. This way. And you know what? I'm just going for it. If he's upside down, we'll use something else. I think he's going to be upside down. Because you fold it like this. Fold it in half. And he's upside down. But you know what? I don't care. We'll put it on the back. And then this goes here. Isn't that cool? And you can make tags like so quickly. Hi, Regine. Welcome, doll. We're working on a little, on some little embellishments for a little heritage signature thing that we're going to make. Journal, little mini journal. Okay, I'm going to put this over here, and I'm not going to put that on there yet because we're not really absolutely sure that that's what we're going to do yet. So let's take one of these with the straight top. Oh, 3 of them have that. Huh, okay. Let's take this straight top because we have this straight top that we look at the beauty of that. Okay, so we're going to fold in our tabs. This is a top loading one. Fold in our tabs. Now remember, if we glue this down, there's no way to ink that edge without getting it everywhere. If you ever forget, you can take a piece of paper and you can slide it in and you can ink it that way, and then it won't get back here. But it's much easier to do it before you glue it down. These printables kind of look like they're already inked, which is very cool because you don't have to ink if you don't want to. But you know, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of ink, so I always add some. So who's looking forward to the release tomorrow? What are you hoping to see? Zhuzh this up a little bit with some texture. See, I just love that. It's just a little bit of, see the little lines? Just makes everything look so much better, in my opinion. And when you do it with the vintage photo, it's pretty light, which I like too. When you're doing like an antique kind of a look. Antique, is that a word? I think I just made a new word. There we go. Angels. That's a good one. That is a good one. I don't think you can have too many angels, can you? Tana? I don't think you can. Tana, I don't think I've seen you here before. Have I seen you here before? Are you new to the Ladybug crew? I mean, I've seen you out on the interwebs, out on Facebook. I don't know if I've ever seen more mini stamps and strawberries. Oh, yes, wouldn't that be wonderful? Feeling you're going to be very happy tomorrow, Shannon. So I'm just going to glue that. I used my Fabri-Tac because it gives me a really nice hold. Because these are going to be functional. Birds and flowers. That's good. That's good. You're new. Well, welcome, doll. We're happy to have you. Ladybug, say hi to Tana. She's new. So Tana, since you're new, I'll give you my spiel. With new releases, with mold stamps and colored transfers, I include a class, an online class, at no extra charge that you'll be added to. You just need to go and Facebook friend me, Victoria Conhorst, and I've already got 3 classes done. Some beautiful projects that I think everybody will love. And so, just because you're new, I mentioned that. You know, this is really big. Or not really big. This is really big. I thought for sure this would fit there because it was straight across the top, but it actually does not. So I'm going to use something different, I think. Well, you know, I'm not going to use anything different. I'm just going to cut it like this. So I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to put it down this way. Straighten it up a little bit. Oh, well, thank you, Tana. Okay, and so I'm just going to, remember we need to leave a little bit there so we can tuck it in and we don't have a little white spot showing. So I'm just going to trace around here to tell me where to cut. And then I'm going to kind of do this so I know where to. So that's my little pattern, if you will. Oh, Regine, thank you, doll. What a nice thing to say. Thank you so much. Okay, I think I've got, yeah, I do. I have all the rows. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut straight across here because I know that's going to get tucked back into the little envelope. This is going to be really, really cute. Right now we're doing, I kind of started with the fun stuff first, to be honest with you. Because I like this, you know, putting the signature pages together. It's fun, but it's repetitive, you know. So I thought that we would start with the fun stuff, which is the little, you know, little bits and baubles that kind of tuck into a journal. So that was my thought on that. So now this is going to tuck down into here. I have to, well, I like that I've got like a little blue stripe at the top. I didn't count on that. Oh, holiday molds like shamrocks or Easter or Halloween. Ah, interesting. It's interesting what people want, right? Because, you know, I always have my little wish list, you know, things that I'm hoping for. And, you know, people are like, oh, ask Iron Orchid to do this or that or the other. It's like, I don't have any pull. I have no pull whatsoever. Although they are gracious enough to send me products ahead of time, and I get to create content for them, which is very nice that they have faith in my abilities. So that's very nice. So I've got several projects already done, like I said, and I've got several classes ready to go. I'll be adding people to the classes on or before the 20th, okay? Because I have I'll have a lot of shipping to do, and that's of course my first priority, because if you're anything like me, waiting for my stuff to arrive is just torture. So I get on that toot sweet. That is my number one. I will be wrapping packages at 10:05 tomorrow, and I'll go all day. Look how pretty that's going to be. Yeah, the paper is beautiful, isn't it, Donna? It's by our friend Denise at the Crafty DIYer, and I'm going to put another link in, and the collection is called Heritage Signature. And if you go to her page there, I think it's on the first page because it's a very new product for her. It's one of this month's new papers. She does 5 new collections every month. All right, so we got that. Let's give it a little texture love. Perfect. Anything with hearts, yeah, you can't miss with hearts, right? Anything with hearts is a winner. That is for sure. I'd like to play along and tell you what I hope to see, but I've already seen everything, so it'd be kind of unfair. I know what's there. And let me just say, you're going to be so happy. Ugh. Think springtime explosion. That's the best way I can describe it without giving away anything. Springtime explosion. Okay, when you're going to tuck this little piece of paper, I don't want to put glue back behind this because it'll stick. I won't be able to get it in here, so I'm just going to put just the barest amount on the backside bottom of that. And then I'm going to slide this right in here. Make it even with the top. You have a little bit of time with this stuff to replacement, you know, it stays kind of malleable. Okay, that's good. So now we've got that, and when the flap goes up, it looks really nice. And since we've already got our scored line there, we don't have to score that little piece of paper we just added. We just fold it down, and it scores itself. That's pretty. Got a little bit of overhang, which is to be expected. So we're going to trim that off. And again, I do it this way. It's a little bit extra work, but I got nothing but time. And if you print the backs of your papers with like a pretty floral print, you don't have to do this part. But I'm cheap. I don't like to waste my ink. Ink's so expensive. Gosh, a cartridge of ink for my LaserJet printer is like $80. So yeah, I try to print wisely. And if I can do this and not print, because, as I explained earlier, this whole part is not seen. Once you fold this up, the only part you see is this. So why wouldn't you just print a little bit and glue that on? None of this will be seen. It makes it easier when you're putting it together, but like I said, I got nothing but time, so I'd rather save on ink. So now we're inking up this guy. Oh, it's just so pretty. And let's ink the front. Heavy in the corners is my motto. Oh, thanks, Regine. Regine, are you going to build a Heritage Mini album with us? It's going to be our tag-along Tuesday for a couple of weeks. Again, if it's real bright through here, I'll come and just add a little smudge of ink. Not a lot, but I just want to bring everything to the kind of the same tone. Like that's super white, that flap. So I'll come and just very softly just give it a little touch, and it just tones it down and makes it more the color that I want it to be. We'll do a little bit here as well, and a little bit here as well. Okay, so now we've got 2 of our little envelopes done, and these will, look, this is a perfect card for in there because it's roses. These little envelopes go this way. They tuck in this way, which is cute. So to put a little tab on the top of this, you can see it's already a little bit long for that. So I'm not going to make any decisions on cutting these down or anything just yet. We're going to wait till we see when we get some of our signature pages done and see just what we want. You know, you start cutting things now and maybe it doesn't work out that way. You know, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. And then you have to go print another piece of paper. So some of this stuff we're going to leave until we start putting our signature pages together. Oh, nice, Regine. Nice. Did you use my link, doll? Did it work okay? It's a new link I just got, so I don't even know if it works. It took you right to her site, right? And then the kit was right on the front page. So that probably will end up there, and that will end up in a pocket, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know yet. So we've got 2 done, which I love. I love this bird. Love this bird and this little swirl business. Oh boy, does that speak to me. That really speaks to me. Okay. So again, I scored beforehand. So your flaps will go in first and your glue will go on your flaps. Okay, your glue will go here. Ink your edge before you glue it down, and that will save you some grief. If you forget and you glue down your edge, or you glue down this part, you know, let's say you do this and you're like, dang, I didn't ink my, you can take a piece of paper and you can tuck it in here and you can ink that edge without getting ink back here. Doesn't really matter on this project because we're going to cover this anyway, but just an FYI for maybe later projects, you know. It's easy to forget. There's a lot of steps. Oh, it worked perfectly. Thank you, Regine, for that that check-in for me. I appreciate that. Because it always works for me, but I don't know if it works for y'all, you know, and so thank you for letting me know that. Okay, so let's glue this down with our Fabri-Tac. There we go. You guys are gonna, I think you guys are gonna be really happy with the classes I've got recorded for you. I was so inspired, you know. It's springtime and it, you know, it had just come off being kind of cold here. I'm in Las Vegas, so, you know, like today it's like 70. But we do have winter, you know. So back when I got this stuff, you know, I don't know, easily I got the prototype stuff like maybe 5 weeks ago. It was still really cold, so it was really nice to do some springtime stuff. So I really enjoyed that. So I'm just gonna ink again. Lots of inking. Lots and lots of inking. And again, because this is so white, I just come in and smudge a little bit. I don't cover it all up, but I just smudge a little bit to bring everything kind of to the same tone, right? Real heavy on my corners. Does anybody else do their corners real heavy? I don't know why, but I think it looks really good. It gives it more of a more vintagey look. Vintagey, there's that word again. And then here too, I've got a lot of white, so I'm just going to come in real light hand, just a bit of a smudge. Okay, I'm going to need a bit of a smudge back here, and I need to do the bottom here. Hey Karen, how you doing, doll? I hope you're feeling better. There we go. Okay. So now we've got another one done. What kind of ticket? That'd be pretty in there. Let's, you know, when we start putting the actual signature pages together, this whole pairing thing that I'm doing right now, that'll all change. That's why I'm not, you know, committing to cutting anything down yet or anything, because that's something that will have to be decided in the moment, you know. But just for right now, it's nice to kind of pair them up and see how they'll look together. I'll end up taking my little whale tail punch and putting, where'd that go? Putting little tabs on the tops of these cards, most probably, like that. But that's a lot of stuff that you can't really do till you start putting stuff together. Oh, you're much better. I'm so glad to hear that, doll. And again, very, very white. So I'm going to come and I just kind of pounce a little bit of ink on there. I'm not taking all the white away, but I'm just kind of toning it down so it has more the color of this, because that's what I like. So, oh look, I didn't even realize that matched that. That makes me happy. This does not have nearly enough ink on it. and that's way too pristine for me. Hey, we didn't give this our treatment, but it's never too late. We can do it now. These are sweet, aren't they? Oh, really, Regine? Cool. Yeah, it is better, isn't it? I love my corners dark. Really do. And when I'm done with a project, I usually go back and make them even a little bit darker. I just love it. There, see, we needed to add some of this. Yeah, we needed to give this stuff some personality. And this, of course, is one of my favorite quarter from the Vintage Texture stamp, which is my all-time favorite stamp. If you've followed me for any length of time, you hear me go on and on about this stamp because I love it so much. It just brings everything to life. It makes it look less perfect, which is what I like. I like a less perfect look. So here we've got another little thing that we can cut for there. So let's do that. We're going to get all 4 of these finished, I think, which would be nice, right? Yeah, that'll be nice to have them finished and ready for our signature pages next week. So if you're going to follow along, my suggestion always, and this is what I do, this is how I do things. Everybody does things differently. I always watch a video all the way through before I commit to doing anything, because there might be something further in the video that has bearing on something that happens in the front part of the video. So I always watch an instructional video all the way through, and I suggest the same to y'all. Unless you like to fly by the seat of your pants, and then you're absolutely allowed to do that because it's your project. Okay, so we've got that we're going to put here. Oh, that's a pretty mix. Let's give that some love. Oh, look, I mean, it's just so good. Yeah, I don't know how anybody lives without the Vintage Texture stamp, quite frankly. It's got edges too. The edges are really good. I use the edges a lot as well. It's got like 4 different edges on it. I think we can ink this after, although I'm going to ink the sides of it because I think the sides might be, no, I'll be able, yeah, I'm going to do it. just here where it goes down into the, I don't know if I'll be able to get to that once we glue it down. So let's do that. So let's see how I did with cutting. Well, terrible, because look, look, I didn't cut it long enough. Dang it. Oh, well, you know what? I'll cut another one. Not right now, though. We're going to move on. I'll cut another one, but isn't that sweet? So we'll take like another little, I'm going to take these out because they're getting bent. I'll take another one and put it in there. Oh, and look, there's like a postcard. So beautiful. I'm just dying to ink this postcard. I've been wanting to do it since last night. I don't know where it's going to go yet in the scheme of things, but I'm going to ink it. Oh, hi, Sheila. Well, you're here now, and that's what's important. We've talked a little bit about the release tomorrow, and that, you know, purchases include an online class, and make sure that you're Facebook friends with me at Victoria Conhorst so I can add you to the class. I'll be adding to the class at the very latest the 20th. That gives me a whole week to ship, but it may be before then. We'll just have to see how it goes. I think, where's my corner rounder? I think, I'm looking for my corner rounder punch. It shouldn't be that far away. It's not. It's right here. I'm going to round these because I like the way that looks. You know, I like the top like that and then the bottom's rounded. I like that. But then you got to add more ink. At least I do. I have to add more ink. See, the darker it gets around the edges, the better it looks. And I used to just take my pad and do it like this. I know you've seen me do this. I used to just do this with my pad, and I really like that too. But now, see, because you get like little things like that. I love that. It's just kind of really organic, so I really like that too. But I forced myself to buy some new blenders because I couldn't find my blender and I got tired of looking for it. And I like that look too, so I think I'll probably do both because here, let's just compare. So here's one that's inked with the blender, and then I take the pad and I go around it. And I think we can both agree that this one is much more attractive than this one, right? So I'm going to do the same thing to this one. I think this is so much fun, you guys. I'm going to do the corners. I'm going to re-ink my corners. And then I'm going to take my pad. You don't have to do this, but I like it. And I'm just going to kind of, because here's what it does. I don't know if you can see that, but it catches the front of the paper a little bit. And look, and you never know what you're going to get, but it always looks good. So I like that. So I'll do the smudging comes in further on the card, but this thing that you do, look, like this little bit, oh, I love that. Because it's kind of unplanned looking, you know. So now when we look at this next to this, they both look amazing, in my opinion. Okay, so we like that. So let's corner around this one, just because that's what we're doing. I love this bird image. So we're going to use a few of the new spring products throughout our little mini heritage journal, and we're going to use one of the new products for the cover. Yeah, that looks good. Is that all my tags? So we've got 1, 2, 3 envelopes. I'll have to print some more for that, and that's all. Are we all inked? We're all inked. Okay. 1, 2, 3. We've got one more envelope to do and one more tag. So we've made great progress. I'm going to back out of this a little bit so you can see the ones that we did already. There. See, they're in the background. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I wish they would make a smaller size texture stamps. I can't bear to cut the large ones apart like the crackler or the plaid. I cut my big crackler apart. I left one when it came just in one full 12 by 12, and I cut it in half, and then I cut that half. I left one half whole in case I ever needed to crackle like a really large area, and then I cut. Look, I cut just into some random pieces, and I use them all the time. I cut like this. Like this is so good for getting in like around little spaces and stuff, you know. This little tip is good for if you want to get like right in. Let's say you wanted to get right in that little space there. You've got that right there. I just used this yesterday on the bunny, on Marshmallow the bunny. And I have lots of different sizes and shapes of crackler, and they really come in handy. And I know what you mean, it pains you to do that, but you know, do you have vintage textures? Because vintage textures comes with 4. 1, 2, and then there's up here, there's a 6x6 of edges. There's like 5 edges, and they're really cool. And then the other is, I call it marble. It looks more like marble. Look, so here's the edges stamp, and it's very cool. I use this a lot. And then there's this one, which I think looks like marble. So if you got one of these, it might be easier for you to cut this apart, and you still have these 3 textures that maybe you don't have, or maybe you already have this. I don't know. I'm just giving you some ideas. So this is definitely going to have to be stamped, right? This guy here. He needs a lot of love because you don't have that yet. Well, you might want to think about that, and it might make it easier for you to cut into a little 6x6 square, and then you still have those 3 other texture stamps, which are, I use them all the time. It's a very, very versatile stamp. I think the most versatile stamp that Iron Orchid makes. I know I go on and on, but I believe in it. And if you follow me, you know that I use it all the time. So look, we took and we just kind of grunged that up a little bit. Well, grunge is not a great word. Let's see, we made it more vintagey. So let's get our corners, and then we're going to run the pad around it. And I don't know where this will end up, but right now we're just having fun getting our little pieces kind of put together. It's very, very light right here. I'm just going to come in and give it some smudges to kind of make it all the same color. And then, yeah, Sheila, it is very useful, isn't it? Very useful. And Cheryl doesn't really want to cut up her big 12x12, but she might find it easier to cut up a little 6x6. Just a suggestion. Okay, there, see? Oh, I love that. So pretty here. Let's see if we can get it to close up. Yeah, really pretty. See those edges? They almost look burnt. Love it. This is beautiful. Is there anything more charming than like an old letter? An old dog. An old dog is pretty charming. I love old dogs. Okay, that one would, oh, this doesn't have any love on it either. So let's do all 3 of these at once with our, and this little picture, kind of cool. A little creepy, but kind of cool. So we're going to zhuzh up all of this stuff. And what I love so much about vintage textures, it's literally foolproof. You can't mess it up. You can't mess it up. And you can go back in and you can put just a little bit in where, you know, it didn't get quite as much as you wanted. I don't know that there's another stamp that you can do that with. That you can go back in and, you know, add, and if it overlaps, it still looks okay. I don't think there's another stamp like that. You all right, buddy? He's like, no, I'm not all right. I'm choking. He's fine. Look, look, look. Oh, it's so good. So, so good. Okay, so we've got those all done. Let's do this. All we have to do is put together our last little envelope. Do I have a top for this? Where's that top that I cut that wasn't going to work? Huh. I don't know what I did with it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there wasn't. So you want to ink this edge before you glue it down, right? that. Then we'll fold in your tabs. I've already scored all of these on my scoreboard. Okay, let's fold in your tabs. You're going to take your Fabri-Tac. You're going to add your Fabri-Tac onto your tabs. And hold those in and go like that. And just hold it for a second. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of shading here because it looks a little too white for me. And here as well. Do I have something to put there? I do, but I don't really like it. So I'm going to print out some more papers to put here and here because I think it'll be better. So I'm just going to ink all the way around my last little envelope. So I'm thinking what I want to do is I'll have to look and see, but what I think I want to do is shrink down. Let me think. I think the journal pages print out is like if they print out 8.5 by 11 and you fold them, they're somebody help me with the math. So it's 8.5 by 11 and then you fold it in half. So now it's 8.5 by like 5. I want to try and make it smaller than that, so I'm going to resize one on my computer and see what I think of that. Does anyone who's going to do this, do you have the ability to resize things on your computer? Because I don't want to do it if nobody else can do it. You know what I mean? And every computer does it differently. Look, I forgot to ink that edge. Perfect, perfect time to show you what to do when you've forgotten that. So you just take a plain piece of paper and put it down here like this. It doesn't matter really because we're going to put something there, but let's say you already have that done and you look and you've forgotten. Okay, so put a piece of paper there, take your ink blender and just blend like this. And the ink just goes onto the paper and it's no biggie. It's like a little mask almost. And when you take this out, you've not gotten any ink back there. Trick could come in handy someday. You can resize on your computer. Okay, that's a good thing. Because, you know, 8.5 by 11 is like, let me see. This is a journal that I'm working on in Denise's journal class, and I don't want it this big. I think this is too big. I'd like it more like this and like this. More like a 6 by 4. That's what I'd like. This is, you know, two full, this is 8.5 by 11 pages and then folded in half. This is in her journal class that we're working on, and it's beautiful. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. Our journal is going to be much simpler. Much 4.25 by 5.5. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for doing that. That sounds like kind of the size I want. I want it to kind of be like pocket sized, you know. I like things little, like little stuff, like this. You know, this is little. It's littler. This is 7 by 1, 2, 3, 7 by 4. See, I like that. I like the littleness of it. I like that. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do with this one. But I know I can resize, but I don't want to frustrate anybody else who's following along, so. But they can always make theirs, you know, big, right? or bigger. See, I love this because look, see how the pad came in and made this little mush right there? Love that. You're not going to get that with a blender. You're only going to get it if you pick this up and start going around the edges. Did we do this one? We did. Okay, so let's look at what we've done, because I think we've done most of our little pieces. We're going to have some other little fussy cuts that we use and stuff, but the little envelopes and tags are pretty much done. I'm going to print some papers and do the insides of that. I think we'll make some little, we'll make a paper clip tag, which is really, really cute. We'll make one of those. We'll just make a bunch of little sweet little things. So here's where we're at so far. I think this might be my favorite one. I love this one. Probably because it has a postcard on it. I love postcards. So there we've got another postcard. We've got these two tags that will end up somewhere, and then these two tags that will again end up somewhere. And these ladies are part of the mix. These ladies here, and we'll find a place for them. She's almost postage stamp size, so we'll find a place for them. And there's a few other things that I haven't printed out yet in that collection that we'll use. And that's it. That's it for today. So we put together our little envelopes for a little journal that we're going to make. I'm going to say mini journal because I want it to be mini. I want it to be mini. I'm going to put the camera back up and say goodbye to you. Let me take my glasses off. Ugh, let me get rid of that light. I feel like I'm on an operating table. Okay, so where do I go? Here I go. All right. So we did our little things there. A little recap on how tomorrow's going to go. The oolalashop.com, you can find it anywhere on both of my pages, usually right at the top of those pages. It's at the very top of this live. If you don't have it saved, I know some of you have it saved, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And tomorrow is going to be Iron Orchid Spring Release. Oh, it's going to be so good. You're going to be so happy. We've got 5 molds, 2 paint inlays, 5 stamps, 3 transfers, and 2 gilded transfers. Every mold, stamp, and color transfer will include a class at no extra charge, and you'll be added to that class before the 20th. So that gives me a week to get all my shipping done, and then I'll add you the classes. I've got 3 classes already filmed. They're already there and ready for you, and we'll do a couple more together because I like the live thing too. But I needed to get ahead of the curve because it's a lot of filming. So I wanted to get ahead of the curve. So that's it, you guys. That's my story. Thanks for being here. I'm very excited too. It always makes me like a little nervous in my stomach because it's so much, and it's a huge responsibility. I feel, to take people's money and to ask them to trust me, and so I'm always so grateful when they do, and especially like first time people. I'm always kind of amazed when first time people like make like a big order. I never make a big order with a first time seller. I always buy something small and see how that goes, but some people, I don't know, maybe they've followed me and they feel like, a lot of people follow me and I don't even know if they're there. They never say anything. They never, but they buy from me every time, and I've never spoken to them like on a live or whatever. So that's kind of interesting. You don't really think about the reach that you have. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool thing. All right, you guys, wish me luck. I will be in shipping. I'm going to call it heaven. I was calling it purgatory, but that's so negative, and it's not a negative thing. I'm blessed to have the business that I have, so it's actually shipping to heaven that I'm going to be in tomorrow, and at like 10:05, that first package is going to be already being shipped, and I'll have my first many orders will go out tomorrow because my mailman knows to pick me up last tomorrow. So he won't be picking me up till about 2 or 3. I'll have a lot of things packed by then. So get your order in early and it'll go out tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll join me on our little journal, journal adventure. I put a link in there where you can find the collection. It's from Denise at the Crafty DIYer. And we're going to do it over the next couple of Tuesdays, okay? And we'll have a sweet little journal when we're done. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your loyalty and your interaction, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. All right, ladybugs, wish me luck. I'll see you soon. Bye.